Welcome everybody, welcome to today's stream. Hello, welcome. So today, actually some World vs. World. We'll start off with some PvP gameplay, just because why not? And it's also, I want to try and show off this build. It's a really fun build. I will release a build guide about it tomorrow, I think. And it was shown off in the monthly ATs. And it's since then it's been really strong in ranked as well. So I hope you like it. And meanwhile, I want to get your opinion on what Guild Wars 2 needs. What Guild Wars 2 features are missing, you know. I talked a lot about stuff with other people that have really cool ideas from other MMOs, from other games in general, but also just good ideas without any real inspiration. What Guild Wars 2 features are needed. And I want to know what you think about it. I think one of the most common ones that is brought up is boon bar. The boon bar is extreme. Not only the boon bar, also the buff bar is extremely hard to keep track of. There are so many different buffs that you have to on this bar, and it's especially for new players, but also for veterans. Actually, it's really hard to keep track of what you currently have, what is missing, what the enemy currently has. So it's really not clear, and I wanted to know how they could improve this, you know. Okay, so what do we have here? That looks not very promising. Is this a support Tempest? So let's see. I mean, this build is really strong because it's also half support, half not. But if it's a full support that we have here, I should not go full support as well. And it might not be worth it to run two of them because we have two side nodes already and a thief, so the necromancer is completely lost all the time. Yes, definitely. Good point, Luca. I think the starter region are a bit of a problem. I think the problem that we also face with this decision from the developers, you know, the developers have to decide if they want to improve old content or if they want to invest into new content. Because that's a really big issue. So if they focus on old content, then the veterans that already played through this content will not be happy, yeah. But what is if they focus on new content? Then the new players will not be happy because they don't get to the good content. They have to play through the, let's say, not that nice content in the starter region and stuff. So it's really hard for the developers to find a sweet spot, yeah. Especially if they are a team like ArenaNet, where there are not that many developers, you know. Oh no, it's gonna be... It's a Warhorn Tempest.
You've lost Dragon. You've captured Lion.
You have to focus on this guy. Very good. Yes, I think BDO did a good job there. The question is if ArenaNet can do the same, or if they have to, you know, do it like, for example, I think WoW did the same. They did update the new regions, the old region, by implementing new how is it called? By implementing... Oh, that's a... Sorry, I have to concentrate here. I'm a little outnumbered here. Oh, I think I'm dead. No, don't rest. Okay, never mind. What is this? Okay, we got a kill, but we might die to it. Sorry, I have to concentrate here a bit because that's a really close match. I can't talk about other stuff while playing this. So there are 3 people. This is a 1-on-1 now. I guess I will go back in here.
Artifacts are accruing power.
Welcome, Roaming Spirit. Welcome to the stream. Oh, Necromancer. It's a bad matchup. I mean, I will win, but it's not a fun one to play because Necromancer is just by its nature hard countering Tempest or Mentalist in general because they have so much chill. And chill is really good against Elementalist because you have so many skills, all of them will have longer cooldowns. So this guy went for the sword but contest shield buff and we got sword, so we are almost same. We actually won the whole map, but we lost far just now. So I will now focus on this. Just so that they don't have a stun break anymore. And now we can get this guy, who's dead. Okay, I broke stun break too early. It's fine, we got the sword buff. Get some support going for our teammate here. And focus the Necromancer here, please. Maybe we can get the Elementalist type. The CC Warrior is really annoying. Wanted to actually stability here, but it's fine. I think we will win this because of course now we are outnumbering as well. So we can even get the decap here. Nice. 100 blades, definitely worth it. Okay, so we will now let this in a 1-on-1 and go close, I guess.
You've captured the field.
Really? So you think the balancing of Guild Wars 2 is actually the biggest problem that Guild Wars 2 has? I would actually say that's not the biggest problem. If you are a new player, I agree it's a big problem, but it's not the biggest one. Because if you think about a new player, they will not encounter any balancing issues until they are 1000 hours into the game. So I would say it's not a big problem for a new player. And I think they should really address issues that keep players from engaging into the game, to coming new into the game. And I totally agree with Luca. I think the game, in PvE at least, is quite well balanced. I think in World vs. World and PvP, there is always a class that might not be balanced good enough so that people like it. That is true. But in the end, it's really hard to do so. But I think, for example, that the clarity, the visual clutter that you have in the game is way harder for a new player to understand and to get used to than the how the game is balanced, to be honest. That's my opinion, yeah. Nice.
The artifacts have reached maximum power. Blue team has obtained an artifact.
We have to kill this guy, please. Yeah. Oh. The CCs, it's insane. Okay, we have to be careful. This guy's stealthed here. So I guess our thief is decapping far. I will try to get this kill here. This one is really easy to target. Doesn't have that much anymore. Only the Involm is left. Should be a nice, easy pickup. Oh, if that crit. If that crit would have gotten the kill. It's an interesting wall. I think we are in a way better 2v2 here. Yeah, they noticed that and leave. No, they don't leave. Interesting. Oh, the walls are really annoying, but I think it's perfect for us to find on our node as two hybrid supports versus a full support. They don't have enough damage to kill us, and in the end they will probably die. And it doesn't even matter because we actually have the point. Yeah, we got a kill. Really nice.
You've lost dragon.
So looks good currently. I think if we just play like this again, always 2 cap and only let the thief decap far, looks really good. I will go for the sword buff now actually, because I get a 1-on-1 here against the Catalyst. That's what I like. I will probably win this, or at least stall it long enough that we win the match from this. Because Tempest is really good against most matchups. I think the only matchup that you don't really want to take is really burst heavy classes like a Willbender. Willbender can easily kill you. But most other matchups are really, you see, I have so much resustain. If they can't one-shot me, they will lose. I can also use my Signet, just because I have the Written in Stone trait.
You've lost the field.
Oh, why did it's never critting? So sad. I should really run with Intelligence Sigil. It's so much better. If I would have the Elementalist, the Elemental here on Elite, I would easily win it. But I'm a little bit more support oriented. That's why I'm going for this one. Great dodge. Nice dodge.
Captured Lion.
I think I can win this. I just need a little bit more time. Maybe not. Maybe I just stall it to the end of time.
You've lost Dragon. You've lost the field.
He does no damage. It's actually insane. What is he playing? Yeah, I will probably just stall it until the end. It's actually quite boring. I will read chat in a second. Just let me finish this match and then we can go to some more chill stuff and I can talk more. Because I have actually quite a lot of opinions about what you all are discussing.
Have reached
Yeah,
maximum
easy win.
power. Your team is
And
victorious.
0 decay. I guess I'm you see how much healing I had in this match. So I think that I agree that the balancing in PvP and World vs. World might not be the best. I totally get that. I made a video about it. I think I talk about it most of the time on stream. I totally get that the balancing on Guild Wars 2, especially some decisions regarding not nerfing classes or not nerfing them enough, is a big problem, definitely. But in my opinion, I feel like if you get to the point where you can talk about the balancing issues, then you already committed so much time into the game that you enjoyed it. But at the same time, I would say people that we would really like to know the percentage of people that quit the game before they played 50, 100 hours in Guild Wars 2. I think it's a way bigger issue if you have not enough people that stay in the long run. And it's not big, they don't quit because of balancing issues, because they never come to the point where they encounter balancing issues. Yeah, I think there are some really big good arguments that you have here. That is, for example, that the starting areas are not really fleshed out anymore. And people have, for example, Lion's Arch was better back in the day and stuff. Yes, that's really good points. But do you really think if ArenaNet said, okay, the next balance or the next update, let's say in February, we don't bring a new map, we don't bring any new content, we will just rework old content. Do you really think people would be happy about that? I would actually think it would be the opposite. I think actually a lot of people would be really unhappy about it. Because a lot of people want to have new content. And ArenaNet is just too small to deliver to everyone. That's the big problem. That's why I feel like we should stay realistic, you know? That is my opinion, you know? But like I said, features that I think new players are also really missing are, for example, is that the clarity, you know, that you have not enough visual clarity, that you don't see your boon bar really easily, or that you see your boon bar but you can't enlarge something, you can't change where it's positioned, how it's actually looking. You see a lot of like the boosts here, and it's so big, it's so hard to see as a, you know, people. And I think Roaming Spirit is right. There's a lot of confusion for new players. But let me tell you, I think if you play a new game, especially big ones like MMOs or RPGs in general, they have a lot of stuff to take in. So I think it's normal that you have a big confusion moment in the beginning. But the problem is Guild Wars 2 doesn't really teach new people, you know? It's so hard for people to understand, for example, in PvE, that quickness and alacrity are really important, you know? If you can't upkeep that 100%, it's such a big DPS loss and stuff. Those things, you know, is never anywhere in the game, it's not present, you know? There's no, let's say, tutorial or something that teaches you how a squad composition should be, you know? And this is so hard to understand. So I feel like the tutorial is missing in every single part of the game. There are some quests, I think, for example, in Zeitung Province, that actually has some tutorial features. That is true. But it's the most basic one. It's like dodging. It's like, what is there in there as well? CCing or something. But in the end, you know, in the end, it's not enough for new players, I would say. But that is just my opinion, you know. Yeah. But I totally get your point here that there are stuff in the how's it called, in the graphic settings that you can change, you know, that the environment zone intensity you can change, you can make stuff way, let's say, less bright and stuff, and it's easier to understand. Yeah, that is true. There are standard enemy model limits for PvP and stuff. This is true. But in the end, a lot of stuff, especially the UI, is not customizable, and that might make new players really overwhelmed because it's not really easy to see, you know. You can't... So I have now super speed. But to be honest, a new player would not notice it except that they will run faster. So it's really hard for them to see what is actually the effect that is causing this faster running, because there are so many other effects on me, you know? So it's really hard for new players to get into and understanding what the combat system all provides, you know? That's what I mean. So I think that is a big feature that they should try to implement, some kind of tutorial, some kind of adjustment to UIs that it's a little bit more customizable. This kind of stuff I feel like is a really big feature, at least in my opinion, you know? And if you, for example, have even the quests, you know, that I just talked about, they come later into the game. So it's typically a level 80 quest. But dodging and CCing and stuff is actually, I think, you should learn that on the way, you know, while leveling, you know, in the core game, and not while playing the EOD story when you have 2 or 3 expansions already, you know. So it's not how it should be, in my opinion, you know. But this is just one feature that I feel like is heavily needed, or two, the tutorials and the customizable UI. Yeah, that's just my opinion, you know. I wanted to do some giveaways. Let me set up the giveaway. Thanks for the follow, Nebula. Welcome to the stream. So let me set up some giveaway. Some skins to give away for my Blackline chest opening. Okay, so to enter the giveaway, just type !enter in the chat. And we will draw the winner in 20 minutes or so. I have maybe around 50 gold or something. And you have to be a Twitch follower to win. But otherwise just type !enter in the chat. Let's see what we can get this time. With one of those maybe, and one of those. One please, yeah. And one of those. Let's say those 3. And then we will draw it in a bit. Yes, I think it's totally fine. Thanks for the follow. Thanks a lot, Sync. I think they should rework some parts of the new maps, of the core maps, for that the new players get into at the first time. You know, Queensdale, how are they called? Magica Province. Those maps. They should rework some of the quests there to learn people the game, because that's where people actually play when they first start out. And then if you get more to know the game, to see how deep the combat actually can be with dodging, with CCing, with all the different skills. Because you start out with only one skill, you know? So the game might seem really easy and really boring because you just auto-attack and that's it. But if you see you have a dodge bar, that is really nice, you know? That you can dodge actually and have an iframe, so to say. And that you have easy tools to control your enemy by using CCs and stuff. This would be really helpful, I feel like, for people, because then they see the game as a totally different, you know, playstyle. I think that it would be really important, you know. Yes, I think dodging is taught in starter zones, but it should be mandatory for people to do this quest, you know. I think it's really hard for people to get there. Most of the time they just run around, explore the map, maybe get even into a new map, but they are not forced to learn that stuff. And I feel like some stuff has to be learned. Yeah, it might be marked. I actually totally agree. I think they did some of that stuff. It was not there in the first year, for example, of Guild Wars 2. They added that later. But I think there needs way more tutorial, you know, that you can change your skills, that you can, why the traits are important and that stuff. It's really, they improved it quite a lot over the years, but still not good, you know, especially when it comes to PvP and other stuff. Thanks for the follow, Chinbender. Especially for PvP, for World vs. World, there is no tutorial to people to just tell them the basic game mode, that you have to capture stuff, you know, capture a node in PvP, and that you get not more ticks of the node if you stack there, you know, so it's just one person on there is enough to capture the node. And in World vs. World, that you have to hold and capture objectives to get points per tick. This kind of stuff is not explained anywhere, and I think that's a big problem for people to get into, you know. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, exclamation mark enter just to get the chance of winning the giveaway, around 50 gold or something. We will draw the winner in, like I said, 20 minutes, a little bit less. Yeah, I think this is a big feature. No. It's still skins, so it's still some skins. I have quite a lot of them lying around. But it's the value of 50 gold, so you can sell them and get almost 50 gold or so, or you can keep them, whatever you like. I will not run out of skins in the next month or so. Oh, nice, a fight. Let's see how it goes. They try to contest it, but at the moment we seem like we are in a good spot. So what other features of Guild Wars 2, or just in general, what features would you like to have in the game, you know? I feel like there are a lot of other features, not only about the new player experience, but also other features that might be of interest to veteran players, you know? For example, I feel like cosmetics could be way better, in the sense we have a really nice transmog system. But for example, why can't we dye weapons? That would be so cool if I could dye my chaos weapons and make them blue or red, you know. That would be a cool feature, and I think a lot of people actually would invest into that. I mean, what do you think, you know? Yeah, I think Chinbender is right. I totally agree with you that the class identity is actually a little bit lacking. So every single class is now able to, for example, get alacrity out, you know, or get quickness out. And I think, at least in PvE. And this is, it was previously, I think, in my opinion, at least, it was a little bit better because you had special things that you could give as a class, you know. So, for example, let's say warrior banners was really cool. So you have the unique ability to buff your allies for a short amount of time. This was really cool, but in the end they changed it because it was not improving the game in their opinion, you know? So you had always one warrior per 10-man group, and this is, I agree with this, but in the end it's, if you dumb down the game to just make it your alacrity and quickness is the only thing that you need, this is not enough. I feel like the deepness of the class is lost. Definitely. Exactly, that every class can do everything is really boring in my opinion. But it makes the game easier to understand for new people. So Skywolf, I have to say, I actually think getting a new class into the game would be a good thing for new players. But in the end, I'm not sure if it would be worth the development effort, because I think they have to change every single skin that they already released to fit to the new class, which is a big problem. So I think that's not possible, that they will not do that in the near future, at least. Improve EAD, stop making new ones. Yeah, so I think if the new raids will actually be successful, I think they will do new raids. I'm pretty sure, because they actually heavily reuse assets. So you can see for example, Greer, Decima, they have a world boss, they have a story boss, they have a convergence boss, and they have a raid boss. So they are 4 times using the asset of those 2 titans, which is really good in my opinion, in the sense that they really make use out of their development time. A lot of people actually criticized exactly that in my videos, that this is not a good thing. But I feel like better having a raid boss where we all, get the same assets again, than not having a raid at all. At least in my opinion, Yes, I think unique skins and stuff would be really cool. I think they started with that because the unique skins of the raids are actually there. I think they should do that for all the new content they add, that there are unique skins that you only can get there. I think this is definitely a good feature to have. I agree. Dungeons, for example, are a good thing. I think they did a big mistake with having the dungeon stuff into the reward track, so that you can choose the Codeco's Manor reward track and get all the skins there. I think this is a big mistake by their side, so that it's not, people don't play dungeons anymore because it's old content and they get the stuff way easier from just playing World vs. World or PvP. So in my opinion, they should just make new skins that you can't get anywhere except from the new content that they are bound to. It's really important in my opinion. I definitely agree. I think you can have new features. Of course, you will not get all that you wish for, but I think some features are really important to get. If they would not listen to and bring new features, the game would feel really shallow. So I feel like, especially World vs. World and PvP, if they don't bring new features, then it might feel a little bit boring over the course of time, at least. Yes, I think Winslow brings up a really good argument here. They don't make new elite specs, so they can start reworking old specs. And I'm not only talking about old specs in the sense of they should rework Tempest or something, but in my opinion, they should also rework core trade lines that are really underused, because they make some really cool reworks of core trade lines in the past. For example, Death Magic was heavily underused in Necromancer trade lines, but they reworked it and now it's a really oppressive trade line, because it's a really interesting design that you get some stacks, that you can get toughness and even power with it. So this is really cool designed rework. I think they don't have to rework elite specs only. Of course, that makes sense for underused elite specs, but in the end, they can also rework really, let's say, underused normal trade lines. Why not? I agree with Chinbender regarding the raids. I think the new raids are too hard. I actually killed all the bosses, but I agree they should have been way more to old strike missions from the difficulty and not to make... I think Decima, for example, might be the hardest normal mode boss in the raid scene. I'm not sure, but I think it's actually might be. And this is a problem, because new players will not get into the hardest raids. They should have made the normal modes really easy so that people actually get into it. That's a big problem, definitely. I agree with that. No, I totally get why they made the reward tracks for dungeons, because the dungeons are just outdated and no one runs it anymore. This is totally fine that there are reward tracks, but I feel like in the future they should not do that, because then they will not get outdated content. Because you then have people that have to do the content to get the skin. Because it will be level 80 content, it will never be outdated. I think this is really important. That's why I feel like the raids should be really easy, so that people get into the raids to get the skins, and then say, oh, raiding is really cool, let's try to get better at it, you know. This should be the thought process, you know, and not we want hard content and then we get only a few people into the raiding scene because most of the people that really like hard content are actually not playing the game anymore. That's my opinion, you know. Yeah, I think they definitely have to rework some weapons. I think they started with a really big amount of potential with weapons that they reworked. I really like, for example, back in the day they reworked the Warhorn of Warrior. I think this is really cool. It was really bad in the beginning and now it's really useful. And other stuff they really reworked, and I think they should continue with reworking old weapons. But at the same time, I think they are really focusing on getting new weapons out, like spears, or changing new whatever they bring into the game, bringing out new weapons with Soto. So in the end, I think that's a big issue, that they just focus on new stuff and don't rework old stuff all the time. But definitely, yeah. Oh, I don't get me wrong. I would really like if people would run more dungeons, because I feel like dungeons are really good. And maybe I will even make a video about it, because actually the gold power that you get if you run dungeons is actually huge. It's actually probably one of the best things you can do to make gold. If you're fast, of course. A dungeon path takes you around 5 minutes, so you can do maybe 10 or 12, let's say, maximum per hour, so you can actually get quite a lot of dungeons if you have a good group. But that's another topic. But I have to be honest, they will never rework old dungeons. That's not gonna happen. Yes, I think that was a big thing that I had on my list. They should rework infusions. The infusions system is a bad thing. So the sense that I'm not talking about infusions in the cosmetic sense. I'm talking about the confusion that you have with infusions, that is stats, you know, like agony and stuff. I think this should be reworked so that you have account-wide agony, and therefore the fractals become like old dungeons, because you don't have to equip all the time new gear, have ascended gear. This is really bad. You should be able to just swap your character to whatever you want to play right now, and don't be focused on a single character so that you have the agony. And therefore it would make it way easier, for example, if you have a slot like your relic slot, let's say down here, multiple ones maybe, where you can equip a infusion like here, and then you can just change the cosmetic of the infusion. That would be so good, because infusions are mostly just cosmetic nowadays, you know. This is definitely a feature that I would say is heavily needed, especially for new players, but also veterans would really like this, I think, because it's just an old, outdated feature, in my opinion. That would be amazing. But I have the hope they will do this in the future, because they actually have, for example, started with the aquatic swimming infusion stuff, which is a little bit more account bound in some sense. So maybe they will do that in the future. I think it will not happen in just a minor update. I think this is a feature they will probably release as an expansion feature, which is okay to me. I just want it in the future. You know, it doesn't matter to me when it comes or how it comes. I think it just has to be in the game in the future, because it's such a big deal and make the game way more just convenient. Definitely. And Winslow, I totally agree with you. You can really see that Revenant has big problems because it was not released with the core game, but with Heart of Thorns, so it always had at least one elite spec with it, and therefore it's way worse in the core trade lines. So they should definitely rework some of the core trade lines to be way more, you know, that you can use 3 core trade lines without getting too much punished, because nowadays if you do that, you are just trolling at this point. Thanks for the follow, Cam. Yeah, I think that is a really big thing. Yeah, I think they did also a big mistake. Winslow, I agree with this, that the legendaries should have been more flashy. I think the PvP and World vs. World armors are just a little bit less, prestigious in the sense because you get the skin for just getting ascended gear in the sense, And this is a problem in my opinion because most people want also to have some prestigious show off that you have a legendary equipped. And now the World vs. World and PvP ones are just have the convenience, you don't get a new skin. This is a little bit sad. They should have gone like that. The ascended one is just a baseline skin, and the legendary one is the more flashy one with the effects and particle effects. That's true, but they will not revert this, so that's just how it is, I guess. Can't change that. Yes, there should be some cool effects that you get, but I think they had a big problem with making really flashy armor. You can see that the raid armor is way more flashy than the open world armor. The open world legendary armor has a little bit of, let's say, visual effects on it, but no draw animation or something like that. And the raid armor, they took months to, let's say, release that or design it, I don't know. And I think they have a big problem doing this. So I would say that's just their limitation by development. I think they will not do that in the sense that there will be a big new armor that has this cool effects. I think they will not be able to do that, sadly. Yeah, but to be honest, Shinbender, if you look at any MMO that is at least a few years old, they will have some problems, especially if they have the microtransaction store. That all the skins that they release are actually really, they have to be better in the sense more flashy than the old ones, and then they just get out of hand. I think this is a big problem in the current economy of games, that over time they just get more outrageous or crazy in the design. You start out with mount skins that are just a little bit of a reskin, and then the newest mount skins are so crazy you don't even recognize the mount anymore, the baseline. So I think this is a big problem, but you will not be able to address this, I think, just because they want to get more money. And I think this is a fair point. They have to get some money. Might not be the best way. I would say this is probably true, but in the end, it keeps the game running. So, yeah. Yeah, the speedboat and stuff is totally crazy. Yeah, I get that. This is true, definitely. But what can you do? In the end, we have to live with it, and I think it's better to have a working and alive game with some weird skins in it than a game with good skins in it and no one that's playing it or no new development. That's just the sad reality we are living in. Yes, I think that's also my take, that the crazy skins might not be the coolest thing to have in the game, but in the end, it's paying us the game so we don't have to have a sub fee. That's just how it is. If people would have liked the sub fee, then they would have gone for a sub fee 12 years ago when they released the game. But they wanted to be different, like not Final Fantasy or WoW. So now they are stuck with it. They can't change it now. So that's just how it is. Yes, I think it makes sense that there are crazy skins that are really flashy or really just crazy. But I agree that they are sometimes really far away from the fantasy world. They are more like a technological world that is way above the typical Asura technology. So it's really weird. I totally get that. I don't say anything against it, actually. I totally agree with you there, but I also see that they want to make some money, That's just how it is. In the Roaming Spirit, to be honest, I'm not sure if they really should rework underwater combat. Because if they did, and if it would be really good, I still think it would be worse than the land combat. And then the question would be, if you really want to have developers that waste it or spend their time developing content that then is still worse than the content that we had before. Because I feel like land combat is just way better. I think it's really hard to make a 3D combat really good, especially when it's bound by physics to some extent. So I'm not sure if that's really the way that they should go, you know. I think, in my opinion, underwater combat is better than most other MMOs, but it's still not good enough to keep developing. I think that's not a thing they should focus on. I think that would be development time that not a lot of people would actually enjoy. And not a lot of people would say that's a good thing that they have made this decision. No, don't get me wrong. I think Guild Wars 2 underwater combat is quite good. It's still way worse than the land combat. But I would say it's not good to focus on it because the land combat is just better. That's my take, you know. Exactly. Yeah, they should focus on relevant content that people enjoy, like world bosses, like world versus world, this kind of stuff where a lot of people are really going in. So I think we are fine now. Just for remembering. Let me check. No. Give me a second. So don't forget, we have a giveaway running, ! End in the chat. Have to be a follower to win. And we will try it in a few minutes. Not sure, let me see. Welcome, Heavenfire, welcome. Yeah, I mean, I would say world versus world is this really, I think this should be the focus where they should focus on getting new people in world versus world and improving the game mode, for example, using seasons or stuff. I think this is what they should do, in my opinion, because it's for hardcore players, but at the same time, it's also for players that are not that hardcore, because you can just, like I am, just run around, follow a commander, don't even be on voice and just play the game and capture some stuff. I think there's something for everyone in the game mode, which is really good. And therefore, I think it's really good and it's really smart of them to focus on it, because a lot of other games struggle with having this much of an open world PvP big thing. I think this is a really big selling point that ArenaNet is not marketing as it should be marketed. That's a big criticism I have, and that's not a feature in the sense, but I feel like they should focus on marketing the stuff that makes them stand out. So this is something I really would like to bring across. And I think if you look at other companies like Bungie or stuff, they make a lot of decisions people, especially the players, don't like, which is totally fine. In Guild Wars directions, I would say ArenaNet, most of the decisions they made is actually okay. I would say they could go way further with their decisions, but in the end, you know, there are still always people that don't like what they are doing. That's just the case. But I think if you look at Bungie, I think a lot of the majority actually of people that play the game don't like the company, which is not a good thing to have. I think ArenaNet does a better job, way better, definitely. I mean, did they really remove old content? I mean, I think Destiny does it, but I think Guild Wars 2 doesn't really remove old content anymore. They did with the Living World Season 1, but in the end, they don't do it anymore. Yeah, I don't know. But to be honest, I would say a lot of games died because of people of decisions that the developer made. I think a lot of games, especially I would say NCSoft, is legendary, you know, infamous in the sense that it kills all the games they make, you know. And Guild Wars 2 is the only exception. I would say all other games that are more than 2 years old or something, NCSoft killed them. So I think a lot of, or look at Ubisoft, EA, all of those companies actually are known for killing their games by making really bad decisions. So I think it's more like the rule that people make bad decisions in the gaming industry. So I really hope that we will get at least somewhat good decisions from ArenaNet, you know, in the future. So let me quickly check the giveaway. Thanks for the follow, Atomic. I really doubt it, actually. I really doubt that they would remove stuff from the game that is already in there. I think this is highly unlikely, to be honest. Welcome, Atomic. Yeah, I think they would not do that, just because it would make such a bad image that they will probably not be, even if they would sell the stuff that they would remove, they would not make the money back from the people that they lost by having that weird decisions, you know. I highly doubt it. So, yeah, I don't know. So, hey, what would you say is the most important aspect for a player to focus on? Breakthrough from Gold 3, stuck to Platinum, stable and solo queuing. I think one of the most important things I would say is to focus on a role. So I feel like if you, at least I have the mindset, I want to get better at something. And I think you have the same thinking, because otherwise you wouldn't want to climb, you know. And to get better at something means to play that special role. So if you are duelist, you should focus on the duelist role and not try to see, currently I have this let's say enemy player, so now I swap to this class and then I swap to this class in the next match. I think you should focus on one thing and try to improve at it. This is my first tip. The second tip I would actually say is you should try to really not tilt. That's one important aspect. You should always think, if a game is lost, think about what could you have done better. I feel like that's one thing that I always try to do. If I lose a match, then it's most of the time because I misplayed at some point. There are some matches where you just lose because of the matchmaking. This is just what it is, I can't change that. But still, even in those matches, you might have had a 1-on-1 that you could have played better, and think about this, And one thing I can really say, if I do this now with my YouTube channel, but you should do this anyway if you don't have a YouTube channel, just rewatch your gameplay. So record your gameplay and rewatch it and think about the rotations that you make. Would you have done the same now that you are not pressured because of time or something? You can now rewatch it and think about, is it smart to leave the team fight early, go far or whatever? This is a really important aspect of Conquest. And if you master rotations, I would say you are almost, without any real skill, if you know when to rotate, what to do, I would say you are perfectly easy in Platinum. I think that there is no skill in that sense required, so you don't have to be the best 1-on-1er to win all matches. I would say you just have to be a good enough 1-on-1er and know when to rotate, when to go far, when to go close. Those are decisions that you should make when you play the game. And if you know them by heart because you rewatch the gameplay, okay, I'm getting outnumbered, I have to kite now. Those kind of stuff is way more important than getting the best player on a special class. For example, if you can easily win all warrior 1-on-1s, that's good to you. But if you, so to say, fuck up all your kiting and all your decision making when it comes to rotations, you still will lose all the matches. This is really important to understand. Yeah. Yeah, sure. I'm always happy to help. And don't get me wrong, I don't get that right all the time. I'm still learning a lot about the game. So even though I'm telling you this, I'm still making the same mistakes, So it's really important to see what you're making wrong and try to get better all the time. Even players like boys make mistakes, They won't admit that easily, but they make mistakes. And therefore, if you can learn, it's always a good thing to see your mistakes and improve them. That's just my thing. So let me quickly tag this event, this camp, and then we can go to the giveaway. Yeah, glad you like my YouTube content. It's always nice to have people there that are interested in what I have to say in YouTube. The rewards in unranked are actually really bad. So if you look at the ranked rewards in contrast to normal rewards, it's really bad. So the unranked rewards, to be honest, are only your reward track, and that's it. You get, I think, 30 silver or something of winning a match. So if you win 4 matches or 5 matches in an hour, you get 1.5 gold. which is abysmal, you know, when it comes to gold per hour. And you get some reward track progress. So I would say you get maybe 20% of the gold that you would get, maybe even less than if you would play ranked. So ranked gives you way more because you get those liquid gold here and you get the instant reward track progress, which is also really important. So I would say it's way better to play ranked. And also, I have the opinion, I try new builds, especially when there's not a lot of people are playing. So if it's 2 a.m. or something, I'm going for unranked matches, and it's horrible. It's really horrible. The balancing is even worse than in ranked. So I would never go for unranked if you really don't have a big reason to do so. So I would highly recommend you to go into ranked. Yeah, at least. And also I would say, even if you don't have a rating in mind, you say, oh, I have to be this rating, you know. It doesn't really matter because you play against people that are similar skilled as you most of the time, at least. That's what it should be. And therefore, you might get better without even knowing it. And this is an aspect I really like about ranked. Because in unranked, you might queue against people that never played PvP before. To be honest, that might happen in ranked as well, but it's way more unlikely. And then you don't learn anything from it. But if you play against only gold people, you might learn something, you know? And this is, even subconsciously, that might be a good thing to have. So how do you turn karma into gold? That's an interesting question. You can actually do that, but there is not that much that you can do. Because it's quite limited, but I can give you a link to it where you can easily find something. There is a nice website, Fast Farming, I can always recommend it. And they also have some conversion rates from karma to gold. Give me a second. Yeah, so this is the link where you can see the conversion that you can get. And it's actually rather bad. There are way better currencies. But if you look, for example, there are some daily stuff that you can do. And there is also some stuff that is not daily kept. And they will most likely also try to explain where you can get it and how to get it. But the most profitable ones are most of the time just crafting and gathering some stuff, exchanging some materials. But yeah, it's not that easy. It's not like just buying a trophy shipment like with volatile magic. Yes, that's a really good point, Skywolf. You should always go for the unlock all the karma weapons. They are so easy to get. Just some karma. If you play the game a bit, you have enough karma. And then you should be fine when you use any unlockers in the future. Yeah, fast farming is not perfect, but I'm recommending the website because it's really easy for people that don't know how to make gold out of karma. It's a good way. It might not have all the stuff, but it's still good enough. Welcome, Filthy Casual. Welcome. So yeah, I was actually playing not Elementalist roaming. I wanted actually to play some Zerg gameplay, but my Zerg just left or disappeared, so I'm roaming as Elementalist. Yeah, so sadly, guys, I have sad news. I can't really draw the giveaway winner. The bot is broken. I don't know what's happened. I have to fix it after the stream. So, I don't know. Next time more giveaways, but today I can't really draw a winner without any stuff. Really sad, sorry. I don't know what happened to the bot. It just died. Really sad. Each of us get a skin. I'm I don't know. Just turn in next time. We will do double the giveaways every 10 minutes. You know. Exactly. Yeah. Sorry. I don't know. Can't fix it during the stream. Yeah. So, like I was saying, I was playing some Dagger Catalyst roaming, but I would say it's not a good build in the sense that it's fun to play, but the current iteration that I'm playing is with Marauder, and it's really squishy. So the ideal setup would be Celestial. I would say Celestial is better, but I don't like to run Celestial all the time. It's boring. So that's why I'm playing Marauder, which is actually fun. Yeah, I think the giveaway bot actually just stopped working because I did too many giveaways the last week. So that's probably the issue. No, I'm joking. I don't know. I will fix it, and next time we will have more giveaways then, I guess. I hope. So I hit him with my burning speed. Really nice. I think this is actually the Holosmith build guide that I recently made. I think this is the same Holosmith. But with Rival. He's so fast. That's the thing, if you play against a good Holosmith, they might be really squishy, but they are so fast. You can't get them. Another man. Interesting. That's the sad part about the alliances system. There are no people except on EB. So I don't get to play my my World vs. World Zerg build, which I wanted to showcase because I wanted to make a video about it. It's just not happening because there are no people here except for roaming. Don't get me wrong, I like roaming. But in the end, I wanted to showcase the... Okay. Let's get the res. Okay, I don't get the res. Okay, we get the rally here. No, we don't. No, I would say ranked PvP is the superior choice. And even if it's only to increase the population, if you are in doubt, ranked PvP, if you have the right mindset, is way more fun. You can get better, you get more rewards, and it's also improving the situation for all of us. So I would say it might make sense to just try it out. Yeah, so it's totally fine if you have questions that might seem not, very experienced, which is fine, you only learn by asking. So this is definitely true. So I would say, so if you have full Ascended or Legendary gear for that matter, it's the same stats. You should go for full runes, of course, use utility enhancements and food consumables. Now they are actually here. I wanted to just show you, not fight them. Okay, now I'm dead. So food, utilities, those kind of stuff you should always use. Full Ascended gear, you should run a relic slot. You should run sigils, of course. Stat-wise, the only thing that you can do after that is infusions. And the cheapest infusions that you can get are World vs. World infusions. You can just get them for some Lores, I think, or if you want to, you can also get it here, I think. But this costs some gold and some tickets, so I wouldn't say that is the smart choice. I would more go for, where's this guy? One of those vendors, I think this one, has some Lores as well. some infusions for low-res. So this is the better option in my opinion. And it's really cheap in that sense. Because tickets might not be enough, you know. Yeah, I think this is a good, you know, mindset that Roaming Spirit mentions here. Just play the game, try to have fun, maybe get better at it, and don't care what other people write in chat. I think this is a bad thing. If you always want, don't play game modes that have people in it that are potentially toxic, I think that might just reduce your fun. Just ignore them. I think just don't talk to them. There are always people that are toxic. I encountered people in convergences that are toxic, you know. It doesn't matter which game mode I play. It's just there are always people that are toxic. And in my opinion, Guild Wars 2 PvP is really, really good. If you want to have fun, I know a lot of people, for a fact, especially myself as well, that just if you start it, it might not be... wow, that was a bad dodge. A lot of people that when they started, they couldn't stop anymore. They just played the game mode for so long because it was so fun. This was a good invuln. They would have died there. I think I'm dead. No, I'm not. Welcome, Caspi. Don't be doomer. That's not how it is. I would say PvP is really good. I watched Naro today and he agrees. It's PvP has so many features that make it really, really good. You have automated tournaments, you have ranked, you have somewhat frequent balance patches that don't affect the game mode, but at least there are some people that are interested in balancing. You get new relics. I would say PvP could be way worse, you know. There are only 500 people playing PvP and they are still improving or trying to make more content for the game mode. So the only issue that PvP has is that there are less people, too little people playing it, and therefore if you have any interest in PvP, play PvP, please. It would improve the, let's say, how much fun we all have in PvP would just be improved by all those people joining us. That is my opinion. So I would be really happy if they just double the rewards in PvP, liquid gold rewards or whatever rewards, and hope that a lot of people join, because then the gameplay would have been way better. I don't really care about more gold, but if people care and they join PvP, then I'm happy, you know. This is the only thing that I would say that they should do it, you know. And even if the balancing is not for everyone, it would still solve the issue with the matchmaking. I have matches where I just look at the people that are in my team and I look at the people at the other team and the match is won or lost. It's just that simple. And it's just because the player base is so small. You can't make fair matches sometimes. And this is really sad. And that's why I really hope they will improve. I mean, they can't really improve it themselves, so we should get more people into PvP. That's why I also try to make videos about it, to encourage new people to try it out, to learn new builds. This is really important to me. So this is, yeah, that was my take on the matter. Yeah. But, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is a hard take. What should they do? What features would improve PvP? You know, would it really improve to just narrow it down, make it only one conquest, one game mode? I'm not sure. It would probably increase the player base in the sense that people are forced to play this, but at the same time, it would be exactly that what we talked previously about, that they will delete content that they previously had in the game, like Stronghold or 2v2s, which is somewhat sad, but I think Caspi is right there. I think a lot of people, especially people that are actually not that hardcore and don't really want to run the right builds or want to improve with the rotations are just playing 2v2 and 3v3. So if they would delete this, a lot of people that are actually engaging with some extent of the PvP would actually just not play anymore because they think Conquest is too complicated. So it's a really tough decision, because if they would remove something like that, there might be more people funneled into it, but at the same time we might lose people that are interested in PvP at all, you know. But that's the reason why they made the new game mode, Push, which they will probably release in next year sometime. And it's to increase the player base by having a stepped stone in the more complex Conquest game mode. But at the same time, I would say it's not successful, because Conquest is complicated, yes, but Push is also not that much easier. So I can answer that question, Heavenfire. What makes Conquest complicated? So in 2v2 and something, you only focus on your personal gameplay. So your mechanics, how you focus on the enemy skills, which stuff you have to dodge, which stuff you have to heal. And in Conquest, you actually also have to focus on rotations, because even if you win your 1-on-1, you might have just lost the whole map because you pushed into a 1-on-1 which you shouldn't have, or something, or you should have outnumbered another player, not your support or whatever, you know. This is really important that you do the right rotations, and this might not be enough for people to learn, you know. Push is not improving your rotations at all. How many people are then coming to me? That's insane. And the Willbender as well. This is not something I want to be. Okay, we got this guy, and now we go on this guy. Now is it Condi? Oh. How many? What is he playing? Great Sword Condi. And I lose to this. This is insane. Yeah, I think there is a big problem that Guild Wars 2 is a casual MMO, and PvP is by nature not casual. You know, you can't play PvP and say, I just log in, play one PvP match a week, and that's it. You can do that, but that's not the mindset of people, you know. Either you are a PvP player and you want to get better at the game, you want to dominate the others, you want to win, or you play an MMO like Guild Wars 2 where you log in, you get some gold and play a little bit, whatever you like, and then next week you do the same, you know, and buy another mount skin or something. So I think there is a big discrepancy between PvP and MMO. I think there are games like Guild Wars 2 that has amazing PvP and MMOs, but I think the player base is not made for playing Guild Wars 2 like the PvP should be, you know. This is my take on it. Yeah, so I think Conquest is just too complicated for the casual community that Guild Wars 2 has. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a little bit sad, because I feel like Guild Wars 2 Conquest is such an amazing game mode, you know, by design. But it's just not enough, I guess. I also have to be honest, they never marketed it in any way, I would say, which is really sad, because I feel like there are some people interested in PvP in MMOs, and even those we don't get in Guild Wars 2. But that's just how it is, I guess. We can't change it. Yeah. So we don't get there. It's really sad. Let's check map. Yeah, but what other features would you say would improve not only PvP but all the game modes? Because I would say that we had some mentioned before, but there was no feature that would say, okay, this is it. That would save the game or would help to get a lot more people in there. I think there was not a single one that would really rescue all game modes at the same time. So, are you having any crazy ideas? Because I feel like a lot of ideas that we come up with are just not working. They will not be introduced in the game, and therefore they will just maybe we will get them with Guild Wars 3. But to be honest, I would say that's just wishful thinking at this point. I would say Guild Wars 3 might not be for us. I think they will change the game in a sense that it's only including open world and will not have any structured PvP anymore and stuff like that. So it might not be a game for us that we play all the game modes in Guild Wars 2 or play really hardcore stuff like PvP conquests. I don't know. I mean, they tried the MOBA game mode with Stronghold to some extent and failed miserably, I would say. Stronghold is a really sad take at the MOBA idea. I think Stronghold is not bad in itself, but how they implemented it is just not working in Guild Wars 2. So that's why no one plays it. I think if you queue up unranked with only Stronghold enabled, you will have queue times of 10 minutes, and then you will get 9 people in there that will just forgot to uncheck the mark in the unranked thingy. Yeah, this one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would say at this point we have to accept that Guild Wars 2, the player base for competitive PvP, is just not there anymore. And I think they will not get back to any extent in the future. That's just not happening. So the thing is, we should try to make the game like... Oh no, he rallied. Yeah, I don't know. It would be interesting. I'm not sure. I think this would be interesting, that you would really get more rewards based on the how close the game was, so that you get more rewarded for even if you lose, but you might lose close and then you get more for it. I think that would be interesting. But at the same time, it might be a little bit hard in the sense. Yeah, I mean, it would encourage people to not go AFK all the time. No Willbender. Okay, interesting. He disengaged. Oh, there's another one. Now it gets interesting. But I think I will probably lose this after some time. They are just too much damage for me to tank as Marauder. Maybe I can win this, maybe. It's gonna be hard. That was no crit, so sad. Would have the burning speed, if that would have been a crit, I would have won it. Okay, I got it anyways. So what is he doing? Sorry, had to concentrate there, but actually made it work. Another one. It's this endless king of the hill here. Nice. Oh, another one. He wants revenge. I mean, you can see, you should just kill them, you know. If you get ganked, just kill them forehead, you know. But I would say the world versus world population is actually quite good. So I think, at least in my feeling, they're doing something right in the sense that people like to play world versus world still, which is actually quite interesting, you know. Yeah, I was joking, of course. Yeah, but in the sense, I would say the direction of how much changes they get to world versus world is good. I think the only big change they should address in the future, in the near future, I would say, is that the winning should matter. You know, we will not win this matchup anymore, but it should matter. You know, I have the second place. I want to try to get something for it. Now it doesn't really matter. That's what I think they should really change. You know, and because if they changed that, they would have a really, really good game mode, and a lot of people and a lot of other games are actually coming even close to this game mode. So, yeah, I think that's what they should improve in World vs. World. That's the feature that I wish for World vs. World. Just make winning matter, and we have some really nice competitive structure. Yeah, I feel like with the new guild system here, I'm always fighting the same servers, which is really sad, because not only that they are always the same, but I don't get new ones, and maybe my friends that I want to 1-on-1 or something. It's not happening, which is really sad. So dagger storming. I really like this new sphere trade line. It's so strong. You can have permanent boons. Look at the boons. I'm playing Marauder. I don't even have boon duration. Yeah. I think this change that you have more different winning mattering. I think this is really important. Double dodge. I take it. Yeah. Another one. That's really king of the hill here. Ah, he wants an underwater fight. Interesting. I have some underwater skills equipped, so I think you will lose. Yes, I think not only Catalyst, I think Elementalist in general is in a really good spot. We saw in the monthly AT that people were really playing a lot of Elementalist combos, Catalyst, also Tempest, all kind of variations, because it's in a really good spot right now because it has so many boons, which is really strong. So especially in small scale fights where you can make use out of the boons and the auras, it's really strong. Which is good. I think there was a lot of issues with Elementalist in the past. Not a lot of builds were viable, and now it's a little bit more spread, which is good. I think that's how it should be. For sure. Yeah, I think this is such a bad thing with the mounts, that whenever you mount, you will lose your minions. This is such a bad thing. So bad. I really dislike that. That's especially in PvE, it's so annoying because you mount all the time if you are in convergences, if you run around the map. It's such a bad thing. It feels so bad. Yeah. But let me quickly think. I have some. And another thing that I wanted to bring up, I think fashion templates are something that a lot of people actually would enjoy. So currently you have equipment templates, which is really fine. Yeah, I can change around for my Zerg build. I can go for my roaming build. This is good. But in the end, I would also like something like a wardrobe template. Why can't I have 5 templates here and change my outfit whenever I want to see it? Different one. This would be really cool, and I think they could make a lot of money out of this feature, because people would engage even harder into the fashion and the stuff. I think this would be such an amazing feature. So, not especially for me, because I don't. Most of my characters run around with the same stuff all the time, and I will not change it in years. But for people that really enjoy fashion, it's, I think, a must. They should change that and bring that. I think they will do it. I hope so, at least, because that would be such a big feature for the next expansion or something. I can just hope. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So make some free ones, like the equipment templates, and the rest you have to pay. Just gems, and oh boy, how would they make money with those, you know? Because people would buy them like crazy for every single character, because they like to have different fashion on them. That would be amazing, you know? That is true. But in my opinion, it's bad design in the sense, if I have this, you know, let me, for example, look at this. This is dyed and has the same outfit. And if I swap, I have the same gear and the same skins, but it's not dyed. So why can't I have a template where I can say, okay, I want this outfit with the same colors as this. Why do I have to do it by hand, you know? So this is the thing that I really would like to have in the game. Not for me, but for other people that enjoy fashion, you know? Why can't they have it? Because they would make so much money from it. And in the end, that would help me, because they could develop the game more. That's just how I feel like it should make money, you know? I mean, they made some really big changes with the legendaries and stuff, that it's, so to say, free. You don't have to buy any transmutation charges when you want to change the legendary stuff, which is a really big thing for legendaries. Going for them, definitely. But in the end, I would say fashion templates would also help quite a lot for people to buy them, for sure. At least in my opinion, you know. So I think this, together with dyeable weapon skins, or dyeable weapons in general, would be amazing, you know. Just for people to invest even more into the game, just fashion wars too, you know. It's just how it is. No, don't get me wrong, filthy casual. I don't want you to spend more money for senseless stuff in game. You know, I'm just advocating that ArenaNet will only develop content for us as the players if they can make money with it. If no one will give ArenaNet any money, we will just lose the game in the future, you know? And therefore, I think, why not bring up features that makes money for ArenaNet while still lets us enjoy the game, because we don't have to have any pay to win in it. So I think this is perfect solution for us to get people what they want and still have all the people happy, you know? I think this is just the best option that they could do, you know? Yeah, I think there are definitely some really bad stuff that they brought into the game. For example, look at those, you know, you have build templates, that might be okay, but the build storage, build whatever this is called here, account build storage, that's so stupid. This is so stupid. Who uses this, you know? This is so bad in the sense that yes, I can activate it, yes. But why would I store a build here and not use it here? Because if I store it here, I have to click multiple ones. It's just not well implemented, you know? So this is just a cash grab. I get that. But equipment templates are so good, you know? There are some bad things about them, but in the end, you know, I would say they should change stuff for the better and make some money with it. I think this is fine, you know? I am not advocating for stuff that they make the game deliberately bad and sell you the solution. This is a bad thing to do, you know? So if they bring up that the new characters that you create only have one back slot and you can buy all of the new back slot with gems, this is bad. But if you have something that is baseline good, like equipment templates, you have 2 of them, and make more for people that want more to buy, this is a good thing, you know? This is what I would say. Yes, there is this Blizzard add-on where you can put on all your builds and toggle them and stuff. So you don't need the build storage anymore. This is true. I mean, I would say it would be cool if they would be account-wide, the back slots. But oh boy, if they would change that, I would be really sad about it. You don't want to know how much gems I, transferred gold into gems to buy all the back slots that I have. I think all my characters have 10 at least back slots. So I would be really sad if they change that. I think they will not do that, of course, because that's just how they get some money. But in the end, I agree it should be like that since the start, to be honest. Yeah. Those are features definitely that they could improve upon, you know. I would also say they could add a legendary bag. I don't know what they would do it, how they would, what would be the special feature of it. But for example, 40 slots and a legendary bag, why not? Would be really cool as a gold sink. Why not, you know? Why not? But I don't know. Do you have any other ideas that make the game even more convenient to play, but might not be crazy? Exactly. That's why I have so many bags and so many characters that I want to equip. So I have a lot of. I think I even have some in the bank currently still. Where is it? I have 24 backslot expansions still in the bank and equipment template and stuff. But I had at one point over 100 or something in my bank just because I wanted to increase the backslots of all my characters. So it's really important to me. I totally get that point, yeah. I mean, you don't really need it with the introduction of unidentified gear. You see, I just played a game for hours and I get this much. That's not a lot. But if you feel like you really want to have that, I think that's a cool thing to go for, especially because the 32 slot packs increase your inventory by almost double the amount. So you have way above 400 that you can get. It's crazy. And they are really expensive. So getting a full equipped character with all back slots and all packs at the maximum, it's more expensive than a legendary. That's insane. It costs almost 2 legendaries. It's crazy. But I think this is a good thing. That's something to go for, you know? So what's going on here? Typical EP tug of war, where we always have some standoffs and fire at each other and don't get anything done. Yes, I think this is a really big problem for people that are not, you know, that don't like to do inventory management. If you have a bigger inventory, you just have to do more cleaning when you have to do the cleaning, when it's full. If you look at my inventory, if I open all the chests and stuff, my inventory is really clean. I have 180 slots or something that are not used. So this is really good. That's what I like. You can see it's really clean inventory, at least in my opinion. And it would not change if I had double the inventory. Definitely not. That's also the reason why on my characters in World vs. World especially, I actually don't increase the storage. I only increase the storage space for my characters that are actually really storing stuff, like my ascended equipment or something, where I would really need more space. But if you are just playing one character, for example, it might make sense to increase it. Yeah, I think it's one really important thing to always keep your inventory and stuff clean, because if you don't, you might not enjoy the game anymore because you can't get the loot and don't know where everything is. I really dislike. So, for example, if you look at Teapot's inventory or something, I really get. I'm getting sad because it's just not how I like it. You know, I like to have a really organized and nice. Working place. Yeah. Exactly. I think everybody that watched Teapot stream at least once knows what I'm talking about. I think at this point he's actually doing it on purpose to annoy people. Yeah, the search bar is if they wouldn't have the search bar for big inventories and people that have this much of clutter lying around, it would be horrible. That is true.
Knowledge is power.
So, at least the latest patch they improved the event participation. So we should now, if they push a little bit more, we should permanently get the event participation, which would be crazy. Because we have a tier 2 stone mist, so we get a lot of defense points for that. Really cool. I'm really happy that they changed it, because that makes this kind of gameplay where you just push in each other way more interesting. Or at least rewarding. Not interesting, but rewarding. Yes, exactly. So what are you saying about the new spear? So the new spear is, like we predicted, already at 4k only. So next week it will probably go to 3k, and the week after that we have it at the normal legendary price. So it's really interesting. I think it's a really smart idea of Hühnernet to do so, to improve the hearts by doing this. So I'm really happy that they did it, and I will of course go for the spear as soon as I have the stuff that I need, but I will not of course go for all the expensive stuff because I can wait a bit. I think this is really smart. What are you thinking about this? Do you already have the spear, or do you want to go for it in any case? Because actually some people don't like it. I think it's fine. I think it's actually quite a nice spear. I think it's for sure not the the most flashy spear or weapon that they introduced, but it's by far one of the better ones from the collection perspective and how you can acquire it. I really like this one. Yeah. Don't die. So if I could only play one profession in all game modes, what would I play? Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. So if I would choose one armor class, it would be for sure light armor class, because I enjoy Elementalist, Necromancer and Mesmer. But if I would only play one class for all game modes, it would probably be Mesmer. I would probably say Mesmer, because it's just the most interesting class fantasy that I would say. It's no other game actually has some kind of Mesmer in my opinion, which is sad, because I really like the cool idea of some kind of illusionist or something, and that I would choose. It's really strong in PvE right now, and in PvP. In World vs. World is good. Yes, Guild Wars 1 has it, of course, but I don't count it as a different game. It's the same franchise to some extent. But you're right, of course. I would say Mesmer is my favorite gamer class that I would play for all game modes, for sure. Elementalist is probably the close second, because you have so many options. You can go really aggressive, you can go really supportive. I like both of those playstyles. I think one of the best support builds that have ever existed in PvP, for example, is Tempest. That's why I'm really happy that they reintroduced it, in the sense that they buffed it as much. No, don't get me wrong. I like all the classes in Guild Wars. Necromancers as well. But if I would really have to say one class, I play all the classes, But if I would really say I could only play this class in the future anymore, I would probably go for Mesmer. So it's not offended in the sense... Oh, they are at Lord. Okay, let's defend it. Some nice Lord fights coming in. Yeah, I really dislike to say one class is my favorite class or something, just because I like to have all the play all the classes, I really dislike to say, okay, only this class, because I probably would quit the game if I can only play one class. I really like to have variety, And if I would only play one elite spec, that would be crazy. I would not do that. That would be so sad. So that's why I would never agree to something like this. So I'm really happy that I don't have to decide, For sure. Nice, we defended it. Yeah, I totally get why you would say Ranger. I think Ranger in Guild Wars 2 is really unique in the sense that you have a pet, you have the Soul Beast, you have a Druid. I think Druid is really fun. I think ArenaNet really nailed the Druid design. It's such a fun healer, such a fun supporter. I think this is my favorite Ranger spec. So, but there are so many good elite specs, For example, let me think. Herald. I really like Herald. It's straightforward. It's not especially crazy by design, but it's fun. and it has some cool gimmick. Might also be because I really enjoy Heart of Thorns and the memories from back then. But what other elite specs do I like? I like Tempest, as you can see. That's why I'm playing it right now. But what else? I like Firebrand to some extent. I think Firebrand in PvE is really cool. In the competitive game modes, I think Firebrand is just a support that is not as fun as Tempest, so I wouldn't go with Firebrand. There are so many cool classes from design, you know, that's why I like it so much. To have variety and playing different game modes with different classes. One of my all-time favorite builds was the, how is it called? Interrupt Condition Mirage for PvP. This was one of the all-time favorites I had, just because it's such a cool, interesting design that you play a bursty condition spec. It's really fun to me. So there were builds in the past that I really enjoyed, and I would probably change my decision what class would be my favorite, depending on the time that we are talking about. But nowadays I would say it's Mesmer, in the close second and third with Necromancer and Elementalist. Yeah, I agree that Druid feels a little bit, you know, not Ranger in the sense. It feels a little bit different, but that's why I like it, you know, because I feel like you have a little bit more complexity to it, because I feel like Core Ranger, for example, is really boring in the sense that it's really straightforward. It's really linear. You have your pet and that's it. And you do your skills. You feel like a warrior with a pet, to be honest, which is fine. It's just not the fantasy that I like, you know. And Druid feels like more, you have more impact, you have more decision making, you have more skills that you can use in combat. At least in my opinion. $40Q and we don't even have a commander here. It's insane. Typical EB. Let's see if we can make something work here. I will do a video about it, I think, about what features would impact the game the most, or what features I really enjoy to get into the game and stuff. And I will mention yours as well. I think that would be interesting to see if people in the YouTube comments and stuff have even more interesting ideas. But in the end, it's probably not gonna happen anyway, because ArenaNet has their own ideas, or let's say their own thinking, and what they do is not always that what the players really want. That's just how they do it, you know. Sometimes they just implement stuff that we did not ask for. For example, the sentry turrets and stuff they implemented in World vs. World. I think not a lot of people actually wanted that. Yeah, I think they had. The problem is that there are actually some really cool ideas for Elementalist elite specs. For example, you could get some arcane stuff where you combine all your elements, and it could be some flip over like the Celestial Avatar form or something. But in the end, I think they will not do elite specs anymore, which is a really sad thing. They did not say explicitly that they will not do it in the future, but I actually doubt that they will do it, which is really sad, because I think this was one of the best, or the probably the best feature that I always got from the elites, from the new expansions, was elite specs, because they are so important to my gameplay. I play all time old content with new elite specs permanently, you know. I play PvP World vs. World just because I like to build craft and play different builds. So I would really hope that they bring back some new elite specs, you know, that they think about new stuff that they could improve. But the problem is I think they just don't want to balance that much. Because they have to do a new weapon or a new trade line and a new class gimmick. So in the end I would say it's just not very likely that they will ever do it again. That's just my take. I really hope they do it, but I think they don't. That's just my take. It would really increase the enjoyment I got from the game if they would bring that back. It would be also crazy if they would release one elite spec every single year with every single new expansion. That would be crazy. But it would be amazing. I would really like it. But I think it's delusional to think that they will do it. So let's see. Do we have some contestants here? Not really. Oh, there are some people. Interesting. Yeah, I think the problem is when they think about, let's say, elemental tough for them to do, you know. So I would say in the end, it's probably for them just too hard to make something like that for elementalist, you know. But at the same time, if you think about Weaver, that it got so many skills, so why not, you know? Why not? But I just think it's too late. I think they will not bring back elite specs, which is really sad because that would be such a cool idea for elementalists to get a new F5 or something. It would be really cool. But I would totally agree. I think it's normal for elementalists to have a lot of skills. So maybe in the future they will just give us an elite spec without a weapon, you know, so that you get a new trade line that changes your class mechanic, but it will not give you a new weapon. That would be fine to me, I think. There would be no big issue. I would really hope that they will bring back elite specs because it gets so much more interesting if you have more build crafting variety than just a new weapon.
Someone help me.
Yeah, maybe in Guild Wars 3, but at the same time I think Guild Wars 3 will probably not have that many features when it launches, in the sense that you don't have 3 elite specs for every single class. That will not be happening, I think. They will launch it like the core game of Guild Wars 2, so it will be really boring or not that exciting in the sense of build crafting. Which is okay, but it's a little bit sad, of course. Of course, we are always speculating here. I don't know anything about Guild Wars 3. It's not even confirmed that they are working on it. So don't get me wrong here, you know. Yeah, that's for sure. And Anastasia is correct here. I think a lot of people actually don't want Guild Wars 3. I would say for me, I'm a little bit on the edge, you know. So personally, I like Guild Wars 2 a lot, and I invested a lot of time into it. And when Guild Wars 3 comes out, even if we have some progress carried over, some microtransaction like they did with PoE, you know, you get the microtransaction from the first game into the second game. Even then, I'm not sure if people would enjoy having a new game. It has to be really different than the first, otherwise people would just say it's the old game, but I have to do all my stuff again. So really, I actually think it's not that likely that the new game will be really successful if it's similar to Guild Wars. It has to be really different than Guild Wars 2. Oh, they killed us. Insane. And I think this is a really big consideration. You know, there is no WoW 2. There is a big reason for that, because people invested so much time in the first game that they just don't want to have a second game, you know? And this is a big thing that ArenaNet actually managed to do, that people played Guild Wars 1 and still play Guild Wars 2. But I'm not sure if they will succeed with a second, you know, iteration where they do Guild Wars 2 into Guild Wars 3. I'm not sure if they will do that, if they will be successful. It would be amazing if they did, and if it would be a really good game. But I totally get that, why Anastasia would say they wouldn't play it. It's fair. I would probably also consider not playing it if it's not good. Or if it's not really totally different than Guild Wars 2. I would just continue to play Guild Wars 2 as long as I can. Or as long as I have fun playing it. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, if it's really, I mean, it's highly likely that they will really do a Guild Wars 3 with Unreal Engine. I think this is a given. But would they really bring back stuff from Guild Wars 1? Maybe. I think a lot of stuff in Guild Wars 1 was really good. That is not yet in Guild Wars 2 and will probably not come back to Guild Wars 2. So I get that point. But at the same time, I really think they have to make the game quite a lot of... Yeah, they have to make the game quite a lot of different, you know. It should be way more different than Guild Wars 2. Just because people would not play it otherwise. Because Guild Wars 2 is just the game where they invested a lot of time in. Yeah, I mean, that's a dream, Filthy. I think that will stay a dream. There will not be a day when Guild Wars 2 will get big graphic updates or engine updates. I think that's not gonna happen. At least in my opinion, yeah. I think people from Guild Wars 1 play Guild Wars 2 because it's actually, in a lot of ways, the better Guild Wars 1, you know, from the combat at least. There are a lot of features that were in Guild Wars 1 that are really good and they should bring to Guild Wars 2. But in the end, I would say a lot of people play Guild Wars 2 started playing Guild Wars 2 because it's not a sub game. You don't have to pay constantly money to play it, and I think this is a big selling point of Guild Wars 2. Nowadays it's not so much anymore because a lot of MMOs are actually free to play to some extent. But when Guild Wars 2 came out, it was actually really not a lot of people did that. Play a MMO that is... How did I get the Defender? What? I did get the Defender here, even though we lost it? Insane. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's Blizzard. If Blizzard gets new character models out to the players, that might not mean that ArenaNet can do the same. I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, I'm with Landry there. I think the game will be different, and I think a lot of people will try it out. But it has to be so much different than that a lot of people try it out, even though they didn't play Guild Wars 1 or Guild Wars 2 for that matter. Because if you only get the player base from Guild Wars 2 to Guild Wars 3, then you don't win a lot. You know, you probably even lose money. You could have just spent the development time on Guild Wars 2 development. So I think in that sense, it makes sense to make a new game that is totally different so that you can attract players from a different market. That is sure, I would say. Yes, you have a dream. That is a very classical statement. But I would say that's a statement a lot of Guild Wars 2 players have. I have a dream that this game will one day get what it deserves, you know. But I think it will stay a dream, sadly. Yeah. There are so many, why are they not pushing us? Crazy. Yeah, but you can see I really enjoy just playing World versus World like this, you know. Would be even better if we would have a nice team play here. But that's why I like playing Guild Wars 2. I have so much different stuff to do. And they should market this. This is what I really enjoy, you know. Just playing around, doing some defenses, playing in a big open world circ and facing another circ of enemy players. This is really cool. And if they would market that, I think that's something that a lot of people might be interested in, and they don't have to market a new game with it, you know. But I fear that the new game will have really big downsides in the sense that they will not have the cool stuff that might interest me, you know. I think they will cut off PvP. They might even not be in even using World versus World. It might be a PvE game only. We don't know. But in any case, it will not be Guild Wars 2. And I have to be honest, I'm not sure if I would play the game then, if it's too different, you know. That's just my take. We don't know how it will be. If there will ever be one, they might just scratch it in the end, that it's not any full developed game in the end. They just might finish, never finish it. That might happen. I mean, Elementalist is really fun. Especially in World vs. World, you have so much on staff, you have so much AoE skills. I will release a video about this build guide actually really soon, about this build, because it's so fun to play. You have so many, especially when you're running around like this, like a group of headless chicken. This is the build where you get the most value of. It's really fun. You should try it if you wanted to use it before. This is the moment. I think it's in a really good spot and it's really fun. I really like it. Yes, if you want to play power or condi builds, it might not be the best, even though Staff Catalyst is actually really fun to play. You can burst them really hard if you're playing full aggressive, because you have double meteor shower. Can be really big damage. But of course you're also really squishy, so... Yeah, I mean, I would say in the past it might have been different, but in the end it will... The balance patches and over the years a lot of stuff changed, so maybe just give it a try again. It might make you happy, you know. At least I really enjoy it right now. There was a time where I did not play it a lot. I played more Necromancer and stuff, but now I'm playing Elementalist again. Yeah, sure. No, I'm not talking about you would never use a staff in a 101 or something. This is just trolling at this point. I would say staff is just a support or a team option. You can't play staff if you have only 101s or something. This is not gonna work. Which is okay in my opinion. It's sad, but it's okay. Because there should be a weapon that is designed like that, you know. If every weapon is like, for example, Guardian Spear, where you can use it in every single situation, you can use it as a support, you can use it in team play, you can use it alone. This is not healthy for the game. They should change that for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think you can see that in small scale roaming to some extent it can work stuff, because everything that works in Conquest will work in small scale as well, because it's the same game mode, just with different balancing. But I agree that staff might not be the best for small scale. It's definitely some dagger variant, dagger or focus. That's for sure better than this. But I think in large scale, if you have 50 players, staff is such a good weapon. I really hope that the balance patch in February will address a lot of issues like the spear design, that will maybe even bring Elementalist Spear to be a really viable option for PvP. I think they should really change a lot of stuff, and big changes, not having a lot of small changes. They should have a lot of big changes so that people really get to play the new stuff and have fun with it. I really hope they will do that. But it's still over 2 months away, so I'm really sad that there's not that much balance happening. This is one thing that I really dislike about the current development of Guild Wars 2, that the balance is only 3 months, every 3 months, and then the balance is just not crazy in depth. There's not that much changes that we really get, even there is a balance patch, yes, but most of the time it still stays the same. You play the same classes. Yeah, Spear has some stuff for going for it, but in the end it's not working out. I think it's still not good enough. They should improve it for sure. Crazy. What are we doing here? We get kills even though we are just running around in a circle. Classical EP.
Someone help me.
Maybe we kill them. Yeah, I think this is a big problem for Spear, that a lot of the Spear skills is actually projectile based. So it's just bad in World versus World, because you have so many reflects permanently going. You see, this wall would have totally annihilated single skill that I have with Spear. And Staff has a lot of AoEs that are just put down, and this makes Staff way better in large scale fights. And I think Staff should be a support weapon, and then the Spear should be a ranged damage option. That would be smart. But they did not give Staff a lot of, ways to be a really good support for large scale. In the sense that if you really run around with a commander and have a really good team, you should probably run melee weapons. And then Spear is just worse because it doesn't deal that much damage. So I think the ranged options for large scale fights are not that good. Yeah. I think they have a big problem with the targeting and the, how's it called? The retargeting of your skills. It's just not working perfectly. Yeah. But it takes ages for them to fix something like that or change it. So I'm not sure if they will ever do it, to be honest. Maybe they just let it like it is. And it's probably not, used that much then. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I'm not even sure how much they listen to people because they always tell us, yeah, they will listen to our feedback, but most of the time they don't change that much, you know. It's the sad part. But that's just my take. Maybe I'm not the typical community or part of the community that would listen to. Maybe they listen more to more casual players. I don't know. Yeah, I think currently I really enjoy World vs. World, but I hope they will change a lot of stuff so that in the future I might enjoy it even more. Because I feel like if I would really go hardcore into World vs. World, which I'm currently not, I'm just playing it like whenever I want to play, then they have to change a lot of stuff like the reward structure and how much effective it is to be a roamer. I feel like it would be really cool if roamers would be important for the winning a match, so that you would really want to flip camps and that you really want to change the play style of how you interact with the map. Because currently it's just so roamers are they are there, but in the end they don't really change a lot because it's not that important. But I feel like if they would change the rewards, and it would be really important to get Dolyaks or kill them, it would be really cool to play World vs. World a lot. Which is really sad, because I feel like in an ideal world you would have a boom ball, you would have a big circle of 50 people, and you would also have a small scale, you know, some amount of people that would try to capture camps, to deny Dolyaks, to, you know, contest their own camps, this kind of stuff. And I think that would be really cool if it would be valuable to do so, because currently it's just no one cares, you know. Yeah, I mean, just in general, I think it should not be only mattering what you're currently doing, but it should be, the variety should be there, that people are playing in Zergs to get one of the objectives, and the small scale objectives are way better if you play it in a small scale, because there are so many of them that you have to contest. I think that would make much more sense. But it only works if they have big rewards for winning, because if you don't get anything for winning, it doesn't matter if you do that, you know? You don't get rewarded for it at all. But if you win because you get Stone Mist to tier 3 and you can defend it because you got the Dolyaks through or something, this is way more important and people would really focus on it. But now, no one cares if a Dolyak gets through, you know? Or almost no one. I mean, I guess that's just how it is, I guess, in the end. Yeah, I think it's also a big problem that, for example, people really like to get a lot of kills. And if you're a roamer, you don't get that much kills. And if you want to go for Ultimate Dominator, or you want to get bags and you have the satisfaction of killing a lot of enemies, you won't get that as a roamer. So I get why people want to play in a Zerg, but it's still sad, you know, don't get me wrong. It's still sad that there are not any real values to playing in a small scale or even a solo roaming group. Yeah, I don't know. It's just my take. Yeah. yeah, I think that's it for me today. Not that much happening. Sorry, guys. That's enough. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Sorry for no giveaways. Next time we will have some giveaways. I will fix it. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. And hope to see you next time. Be sure to check them out on YouTube if you're not already there. Follow, subscribe, you know it. And thanks a lot for watching. Was fun. See you.
I wield great wisdom.